Welcome to another video session on fluids and their essential characteristics. So we have seen in the previous video session the basic definition of a fluid, the essential characteristics of a fluid with respect to its packing at the molecular level, and the position of fluids category in the states of matter. And also we have seen the three basic categorization of fluid study, that are fluid statics, kinematics and dynamics. So with this basic information we proceed further. We will try to understand what is meant by fluid pressure and the continuum concept in fluid. So here, we say that pressure, for example, water is flowing through a pipe, that is our domestic example. So we say that the pressure is this value, that is 2 kg force per centimeter square or 5 kg force per centimeter square. And also we know that the atmospheric pressure, we usually term it is 1 bar in the standard conditions. And also in the tire inflating stations and all, or in our vehicle tire, the maximum permissible pressure we represent as 32 psi or 35 psi. So these are pressure expressed in different units. So after all, what is fluid pressure? Okay, that we will try to understand in this video session along with some basic concepts of fluid continuum. So here, we'll discuss in such a way that there is a direct correlation between pressure and stress. So in our basic engineering mechanics in the first year, we have studied what is stress. That is, basic definition is if we have a force applied on a particular solid body, so that will be stress. That means stress is created in the cross section of the fluid body. Okay, and we have seen tensile force, compressive force, shear force, etc. So correspondingly, with respect to solid mechanics, tensile stress is created. Tensile stress means at the cross section is subjected to elongation. Compressive stress, if you have a compressive force acting on a solid body, and also shear force, that means there is a shearing between two solid bodies which are in contact. So this is an example with respect to our engineering mechanics. So you have a block here, so the tensile force is acting on the block, so that cross section is subjected to tensile stress. Okay, and there will be percentage of elongation. So we quantify that elongation in terms of strain rate, Young's modulus, etc. we have studied. And similarly, you have here compression. Compressive force is applied and the cross section is subjected to compressive stress. There also you can calculate the percentage of contraction, the strain rate, etc., etc. And this is an example of shear force. You have two solid bodies or blocks in contact. If you apply force parallel to its cross section, that is shearing area, so the two blocks will be sheared off, and in the shearing area a stress is induced, that is known as shear stress. So this is the basic knowledge we have with respect to our engineering mechanics. And now with respect to fluids, we define pressure. So pressure, generally it is defined as the normal compressive force per area. So stress is also force per area, but pressure is, the force should be compressive in nature and it is normal to the area. So you should be able to clearly distinguish between the pressure, what is meant by pressure, what is meant by stress, even though both are termed as force by area and the units are the same, Newton per meter square or Pascal. Okay, but pressure is with respect to a fluid element. So we will discuss more on the fluid element. So suppose you take a fluid element as a cube, that is an approximation. So we will deal more on fluid element approximation and pressure details in the later sessions. So if you can compare, or if you can assume a fluid element, a very small element in the form of a cube, it has got 6 faces. Okay, so that fluid element has got 6 faces. So with respect to the 6 faces, you can say the normal force on the 6 faces divided by the area of each phase, that will give you the pressure on each of these phases. Okay, so that is a pressure that is related to fluids. And now we will deal with shear stress in fluids. Okay, So with respect to solid mechanics, already we have seen shear stress is induced. For example, we have done problems like we have an inclined plane and over which a body is rolling or sliding. So you have the rolling friction or sliding friction that produces shear stress in the solids which are in contact. So with respect to fluids, also we have fluid friction, that is alternatively termed as viscosity. We will deal with viscosity in a detailed manner in the later sessions. So that viscosity or the fluid friction is a basic reason for inducing shear stress in fluids. So shear stress in fluids is very important term with respect to our viscous fluid flow. That means a fluid having viscosity. So obviously when it is flowing, there will be shear stress developed. And how the shear stress is developed? See, in solids there should be two bodies to be in contact and has to shear off between each other. But in fluids, you see, the fluids can be assumed to be composed of different layers. Flowing fluid can be assumed as composed of different layers, various layers of fluids, fine layers. So if it is having viscosity, when one layer is gliding over the other layer, what happens? There will be stress between the two layers which are in contact. Similar to our solid mechanics case, there are two layers in contact and shear stress is induced between the two layers. We will deal with Newtonian, non-Newtonian fluids, etc., and the characteristics of the shear stress developed also we will discuss later. So what I am trying to tell you is that in fluid mechanics, these two terms are very important. One is fluid pressure, other one is the shear stress developed in the fluid. So the entire discussion on fluid mechanics, especially with regarding viscous fluid flow as well as fluid statics, is related to this pressure as well as stress that is developed in the fluid. So pressure is always, as I already told, it's a normal compressive force per unit area. So I recommend you to read more on pressure as well as fluid stress or shear stress developed in a fluid, and try to gather more information, more fundamental information. Okay, so that is regarding our discussion on pressure and shear stress in a fluid. And now we move on to another topic, that is fluid continuum. So continuum concept it is called. The continuum concept is a general explanation or general concept regard to our thermal engineering or fluid mechanics, or if you are dealing with the engineering studies, that is macroscopic level studies, we deal with the continuum concept only. So we know what is microscopic level of analysis and macroscopic level of analysis. Macroscopic level means there should be sufficient number of molecules. Okay, so molecular level analysis is generally termed as microscopic. Okay, so let us discuss about the continuum. So fluid continuum means the fluid is assumed as homogeneous and continuous distribution of matter. So there is no single molecule or one or two molecules existing. There should be sufficient number of molecules in the fluid system in order to define properties on the fluid system. So that is why that fluid element is taken as a fluid continuum, or it is taken as a continuous distribution of matter with the homogeneous properties. Minimum number of particles must be present to define any property of a fluid medium. So we say that different properties of fluids, fluid pressure, fluid viscosity, fluid density, fluid capillarity, etc. all these are state variables. So we have a basic idea about properties. So state variables corresponding to a particular state of the system are known as properties or state variables. So we'll discuss about the state variables or fluid properties later in first module, in this module itself, in the later video sessions. And there should be minimum number of molecules in order to define the properties. You see this? Okay, so if the number of molecules are below or less than that minimum, you cannot define a property there. So there is no such thing as property defined on that particular matter. So that is a continuum concept. And now properties are defined on continuum domain only. So here you have two domains. So see that figure, you have two domains. One is the left side of the vertical line. So this is a vertical line, and left side of the vertical line, it is marked as a region of non-continuum, and right side is region of continuum. So what is on y-axis is average molecular density. That means what? If we take a particular volume, what is the number of molecules present here? Okay, average mass density, that means what? It is the number of molecules present. So there should be minimum number of molecules. What is the minimum number of molecules here? Corresponding to this density value. Okay, so only if what is on y-axis, it is volume of the system. Okay, so if the volume, that means number of molecules, corresponds to the point A, we can define the properties. Okay, so towards the right of A, you have the continuum concept applied, or the properties are defined. To the left, you have a region of molecular effects predominant, or known as a region of non-continuum. So we as engineers are discussing on the right side of this vertical line through A only. So what happens to the left side? You have, if you take a particular volume, it has more than one property is defined. So mass density is one of the properties here. So it is only, the y-axis is only the representation of a property. It may be mass density, viscosity, capillarity, etc. So y-axis is only a representation of a property, and x-axis is the volume of the system, or the number of molecules, you can say. So any property, mass density, viscosity, specific volume, temperature, vapor pressure, as you can see there, is defined on continuum concept only, or on continuous distribution of matter only. So volume, as I already told, it means the number of molecules present in the system. So as per this continuum concept, we can say that a fluid is considered as homogeneous and isotropic. So you know what is this property, homogeneity and isotropic nature of the fluids. And so to the left of this line A, with respect to this figure, we can say that it is the region of non-continuum or molecular effects. So molecular effects means what? The table you can see microscopic approach. That is, we consider each and every molecule and the properties of each and every molecule at the molecular level, or the atomistic level, or the particle level analysis is being carried out. Okay, so that is done by scientists. Okay, molecular level scientists. We as engineers, we deal with certain minimum number of quantity of matter only. That is macroscopic approach we follow. That means we follow continuum analysis in engineering practice. Okay, so that is regarding continuum. So if you say that the mass density is 2.1 kilogram per meter cube for a particular fluid, so that is defined on the continuum quantity or continuum distribution of matter only, or only on the continuum of that particular fluid taken, that mass density is defined. So that is regarding our continuum concept. So this is the same analysis you can study in thermodynamics also. There you consider a thermodynamic system. So in thermodynamic system also you define the continuum there. So in all engineering practice, our properties and discussions and deliberations are focused on, are based on the continuous distribution of matter only. Unlike molecular scientists, they deal with the molecular level properties. So I think now you are almost clear about this concept of continuum, as well as pressure, as well as shear stress developed in a fluid. So I'll give you two tasks. So one is task 1, read more on continuum concept in engineering practice and give your understanding in 500 words in your own language. So this is a topic where you can develop more information or knowledge. So you can read books, standard books on this particular topic, and write in your own sentence what you have understood by the term continuum concept in engineering. Okay. Task 2, list out commonly found examples for liquids and gases in our daily life. So this will give you a demarcation between, or differentiation between, what is a liquid, what is a gas. So both are collectively termed as fluids. We will discuss in the next video sessions. So liquids and gases, which are collectively known as fluids, you know, so which are having continuous deformation if we apply a shear force, that is a fluid. So you can list 10 liquids and 10 gases, and you can compare these two, so you can sense. So these two tasks you are supposed to do, and we'll continue with further analysis like properties of fluids, mass density, viscosity, vapor pressure, capillarity, etc. in the subsequent slides. Thank you.